as well. Javier, give us a mic check.
Hello, 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 hello. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Give me one. Give me two.
1, 2, 2. Oh, it's got to be pretty close. Yeah. Kiss it.
You gotta really kiss it.
Everybody, eh?
Ready? Keep a hold. I'll keep a hold of that here.
1, 2. Whoa, that's loud. 1, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2. Give him some sound.
Check, mic, check.
Woo! 1, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2. Whoa. Is that not really loud in your ears? Well, you need to listen out here. Okay, that's really loud here. You are on 1, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, 2. Just turn me up on. Turn me up on 1. 1, 2, 2. 1, 2. More. 1, 2. 1, 2, 2. We got a lot of tech back here. All right, people, give me a bit more. 1. I'm 1. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Crypto del Carmen dinner number 27. Give us a round of applause. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Come on, guys. I'm just really curious. Who has been to one of our beautiful events before? Show your hands. Okay, and who's never, ever been here? Ever? Awesome. Can everyone who's been here before give those that are new a round of applause and say welcome to our home in Playa del Carmen. My name is Daniel, and this is the wonderful
Chris, what's up, guys?
And so I am really curious here, just to begin, because you won't necessarily know who I am, but if you have received a voice message of Chris, raise your hand. If you've received a voice message of Chris that's longer than 5 minutes, raise your hand. I love how more hands go up. We're gonna do a few more announcements later on, but I want everyone to understand something, that I can only do my job here, which actually lasts for about 2 hours, because this man here sets everything up in the fucking back end. So good that you have a slick event. And if you've been here before, do you think we run a good event? Yeah? So I want you to give Chris here a round of applause, because he sits at the back and gets everything going. Please give Chris a round of applause for being here, man, and getting it all sorted. Because we wouldn't be here and have the slick event that we have and the professionalism if it wasn't for you. So I really appreciate that, man. We're going to share a little bit more about where we came from and some announcements later on. But first, we are here for an event for living in crypto. So let's just have a see. There's a lot of new faces here. Wow. Okay, so that we can gauge and so that these beautiful guys on the stage have a better idea, who would say they have been in crypto a while? Let's just have a see. You can be everything from an OG to like, good enough, it's cool. Okay. And honestly, who considers themselves a total noob? 2, 3. And who has absolutely no idea? Because that's at least one. Thank you for your honesty, my dear. Yeah, no idea. Oh, she put her hand up. So, the purpose of tonight's event is some people here will just kind of like have crypto as a bit of an investment. Yeah, so you've kind of got a bit of crypto, you keep it on the side. And the best analogy I can give to that is going and doing a yoga session. Okay, stay with me. You can just go and do one yoga session and that's it. You go home, you carry on your life. You deal with your crypto and your little wallet and you carry on your life. But some of you here are yoginis. You live in the mountains, you live in the Himalayas. You do yoga every single day. The whole yoga philosophy is a part of your life. And there are people in crypto that work in the same way. They eat crypto, they sleep crypto, they shit crypto. They earn it, they save it, they pay their bills. They pay for life. And that's the conversation we're having here today. Rather than like just interlacing with society and crypto, we're talking about how do you exist in a totally different layer? How do you exist without a bank? How do you go about life? All of these wonderful things. And the aim is, I hope that you leave today with a slightly different perspective, maybe. Maybe a different way of how you look at it. Maybe a different way of how you do what you already do. And so that's why we have pulled together 4 beautiful people here today who have come from different places around the world. And so we're just going to begin, first of all. Actually, before we begin, pause. This is an interactive event. Who can tell me what an interactive event means? Ooh, 10 points to the man at the front. You're going to get the first mic. Because I want you to share that because no one heard it.
It's where you interact, ask questions. Sometimes you stand up and occasionally raise your hand.
I like. Can you show us another hand raise? Give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
What's your name?
I'm Joe, by the way.
Joe.
In the corner.
Everybody say, hi, Joe. We're a friendly bunch here. It's an interactive space where you can talk back and ask questions and raise your hand. So I want to have a quick check. Everybody, I just want you to do this. Come on. If you're not doing it, poke the person next to you. Okay, left hand, put it in the air and say, I have a question. Okay, right hand, put it in the air. I have a question. I have a question. Ah, excellent. Okay, so that's the process for when you have a question. And then
Orit will run to
Orit,
hear your question.
she will. So this is Orit's first time of helping out, and to warm everybody up, everyone say, hi, Orit.
Hi.
Hi, my lady. Thank you for helping and joining. And we also have Vadim somewhere. Vadim, where are you? There we are. Vadim's at the back. Everyone say, hi, Vadim.
Hi, Vadim.
So when you have a question, you can raise your hand and you say, and Orit or Vadim will come and take your question. That's how this is going to work. Now, there's about 150 of us here, which is our biggest event yet. That's why there's a lot of people standing at the back. Hi, everyone. Sorry, there's no room. Because of that, when conversations start, I don't want to be a conversation police, but there really should be one conversation, and it's between you guys and these guys. Ideally, that's what we're aiming for. And I know little conversations break out, but if you can just try. Pretend you're at school and you're trying to be good. Which doesn't work with crypto and rebellious people. I know, but just dance with me a bit. Okay, so we're now going to begin. Now we're back over here. So my wonderful man, if we can begin with Javier. I'd love you all to just have a couple of minutes to just share why the fuck it matters that you live so much in crypto. This can include where it maybe began. But really, I just want people to understand you all have different reasons for why you're doing what you're doing. Why you started here, yeah. So tell them who you are and
Hi,
share
guys.
your story.
How are you? It's here. Hello. Yes.
Can you hear okay?
It's okay.
1 second.
You have to hold it right up.
But I don't hear. Hello. Yes.
Use this for now. Don't worry, let him hold that. We have a shortage of microphones today, people.
So hello, I'm from Argentina. So very sorry about my English, as I always say. It's my slogan, buddy. So I'm involved in crypto 6 years ago. I love crypto. I love Bitcoin. I love sats. I love lightning payments, being in channels. So what can I tell you? You need to have small amount of BTC in your wallet. I don't know how many tokens or how much coins do you have, but the mother of the mother is Bitcoin, and you need to have it. What can I tell you? I am involved in Bitcoin since 6 years ago. And really, the purpose was at first because I need to bring money from Argentina, and the fees from bank transactions and all that stuff was really high, huge fees. And it was impossible. Imagine I wanted to buy an apartment here 5 years ago. It was impossible. So the first step was that one. And the second one, it was a friend of mine asked me for money. I sent him 2 Bitcoin and he lost it. So imagine, I need to understand this.
He lost 2 Bitcoin.
Really 5,
Lo-
but yes, 2. 2 with my friend.
Okay, lost. Was it a tragic boating accident? And they're
What?
in a wallet in your name?
No, man, he was needing money, and afterwards he don't understand crypto.
Okay.
He do wrong. Afterwards, only. So that's my story. Now we'll explain a little bit further. We can go on with him. Okay.
Okay, cool. Pass it on.
All right. Hello. Can you hear me? Is that
Mm.
loud enough or no? Okay.
As loud as we
I'll
thought.
revert to this one. So I go by Nacho here. I have been involved. Well, I bought my first Bitcoin just about 7.5 years ago now, so I've been around a while. I'm a software developer. I work for a company called Swan Bitcoin, and I've been living here for about a year. How I got interested in Bitcoin originally? Well, my previous life, I was a police officer for 10 years, and I read about the Silk Road trial and in the aftermath of that, and I realized that if this could go on under the nose of the FBI for however long it went on, 2.5 years, and they couldn't do anything about it, this was kind of nuclear weapons grade money, and it would change the world, and that I should put every single dollar I had into Bitcoin, which is pretty much what I did. So I've been involved in the space for a while, and then I just got more and more obsessed with Bitcoin until I eventually thought, well, I've got to figure out how I work in the space, and I picked up coding and learned it from scratch just because that seemed to be the easiest way to get involved in the space, and here I am now. So talking about what we're talking about tonight, I'm paid 100% Bitcoin. 99.99% of my money is in Bitcoin, and I would like it to be 100%, but it's slightly, can be a little impractical at times, like we'll no doubt talk about tonight. And why it's important, I mean, I think, well, we're all here because we realize that this shit is going to revolutionize the world, and it's the biggest opportunity in your life, or your children's life, your parents' life, your grandparents' life, to not only change your circumstances, but to change the nature of the world we live in. And for that reason, I think, even though at times it can be a little impractical to live completely on Bitcoin, you've got to get on board, and you've got to step outside your comfort zone to do it, because if no one is going to take that first step, well, no one else is. So that's my story.
Thank you very much, Nacho.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriel. I'm from LA. I got involved in Bitcoin in around 2016, and it was out of pure curiosity because I wanted to know about the dark web, and you can only use Bitcoin and Monero on the dark web. And so I was exploring, that universe on the Silk Road out of pure curiosity, and that's what got me into it. I was kind of fascinated by anonymity at the time and the things you could do on there. Working in marketing and advertisement, that curiosity put me into directing marketing at Brave Attention Token, and that if anybody knows what Brave Attention Token is, it's a blockchain company, and that kind of pushed me in that kind of direction. As far as hodling Bitcoin, I don't hodl Bitcoin anymore. As an investor, I have my own thesis in regards to it. Bitcoin is for wealth preservation, not wealth accumulation. And so once you understand where you are in your life, you diversify assets based upon that.
Cool. I'm always interested in the underdogs. Who would say that Bitcoin is for, what were the two options?
Wealth accumulation and then wealth preservation.
Who thinks Bitcoin is for wealth accumulation? Raise your hand. Who thinks it's for preservation? Oh, even split. I didn't see what we had over here. 50-50?
2 for the first, 1 for the second.
Okay, so you're doubling down on accumulation and 50% of preservation. All right, cool. Thank you very much, Gabriel. Didi, sir.
Hello, sir. Sorry, my voice. I already did an event this morning in Tulum. Beautiful to be here, guys. My name is Didi. I'm also referred to as the guy that sold his house and went all into Bitcoin about 5 years ago. But I started mining Bitcoins in 2013, a shitload of Dogecoin in 2014. Then went all in 2016 after selling the house, the companies, the cars, the bikes, the kids' toys, the kids' clothes, my shoes, not the wedding ring and not the kids itself, but almost everything. Between 2013 and 2016, I started to understand that those that always try to control us can only control. Hello? Yo. That they can only control us when we use their currency. So I figured out I don't want to use the currency of those that want to oppress me and force me to do stuff. So I started to use Bitcoin. We abandoned the whole banking system with the family. The kids all have their debit cards in Bitcoin so they can spend it on their stuff in the stores. And we have been living this life now for 4 years. In the last 4 years, the last 5 years, traveling 42 countries, gospeling the world about Bitcoin in documentaries, in YouTube videos, in Instagram, and all the world where we can. And here to educate people again about how life on Bitcoin is possible. And hope you enjoy this evening.
Awesome. Cool. Can we give them all a round of applause, please? We're also working with a lot of new technology. So I just want to give thanks for any patience from you guys and from you guys for this. We're doing the best we can with it. All right. So let us begin. So we have 4 people on stage here with pretty much everybody 100% of their lives in crypto. Now, I got questions that are in my mind, but Vadim has been going around as many tables as he can, getting you to kind of pre-think some questions. So I'm curious, before we begin, it's always nice if we can get a question from the audience first. Does anyone have any initial thoughts or questions around, if you were to live in crypto, what would be the most difficult thing for you to do? I'm going to see if one of our lovely 4 people can answer it. Eddie, yeah? Is it going to be a serious question? I know you. That's a double negative. Hang on. Yes. Get a mic first. Yeah. You need a mic because you're loud, but.
All right, let me just check it out the mic. Can everybody hear me on this?
Come on, Eddie.
All right, somebody, yeah.
All right, so like the real question is cashing out, right? Because most places, my rent and the clothes I want to buy, I can't. They don't take cryptocurrency, not yet. There's not a very great solution for that. So like that was, well, that I'm aware of, and that I think a lot of people might also have this question. Like, what's a good way to turn the crypto into an asset that I could use to buy goods and services? And there's like taxation issues. There's all these,
So. Just because there's a T word in there, right?
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, we have a crypto tax event, and we actually have him here. There's Bobby sat over there. Thank you very much, Bobby. So I don't want to, we can touch on stuff, but I don't want to talk too much on tax because we have a whole event for it. So we're going to stay on practicals. You're basically saying, how do I spend my crypto?
Yeah, I would love to be able to pay rent and live completely on crypto, but I just don't know how to do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you'd love to be able to just pay your rent and live in crypto?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a good enough starting question? Moving along, start with Didi. Let's have a see.
Yeah, it was not difficult. It became very easy. Everybody knows by now about Bitcoin. For example, here, last year I was here. I converted a real estate agent with more than 200 houses to accept Bitcoins for all these houses. Rent, buy, all of it. I converted in Tulum 2 hotels to accept Bitcoin, 2 restaurants to accept Bitcoin. Now I'm staying in Aldea Thai here on the beach. I'm paying the guy in Bitcoin. It takes time. It's not as easy as paying in money, but that's my passion. I educate the guy. I tell him, do you want to be paid in Bitcoin? He will answer to me, no, that's a difficult way here in Mexico. I just tell them, let's install Bitso, Mexican company, on your telephone. I will send you the Bitcoins. You can exchange them to your bank account. It's done in 10 minutes. He understands it, and he, again, educates other people as well. So that's how we do it all over the world. But it was also difficult. So you need, we spent bit-refilled coupons at the McDonald's. We buy coupons online with Bitcoin to spend them at the McDonald's. But that's just because I want to not touch fiat, filthy fiat, I should say, and not pay taxes anymore. We don't talk about taxes tonight, but so it's not easy. It's difficult, but that is why I respect all of these people on here as well, because I know what they are going through, but it's definitely possible. There is always a way.
There's always a way. Let's leave it. Hang on, Eddie. Let's wait. Go on. Keep going. Let's take a couple more.
And I wanted him to, whoever, to quantify the question, like a more direct question, like in what regards living off crypto? Like
he wants to pay his rent. He wants to turn
also,
it.
you just want to understand how to turn it into cash.
Let's Eddie. Let's leave it there. Eddie, we got the question. We're good, man.
Okay.
I got you. I got you. Okay. Eddie wants cash.
Okay.
Does anybody else want cash? All right. How do we get cash? I know.
Also, I get cash by converting, by pulling money out of a CDP, which is a collateralized debt position, because it's non-taxable. And so I don't actually close trades. I just pull money out of my CDP and I'll transfer it to Coinbase and then right directly into my bank account.
All right. Whoa. We're gonna.
CDP.
What's C?
What is a CDP?
Well, CDP is a collateralized debt position.
Can we say a bit slower?
Sorry.
CDP. Collateralized debt position. All right.
Just to into the question, I just use a regular dealer, and I call him an OTC dealer. And I've been doing it here now already twice. And I just call him. I have a coffee. I give him my bitcoins. He gives me the pile of cash, and that's done. Untraceable.
So 2 totally different ways. I'm curious here, if you're happy to raise your hand, who's aware of our Play-Doh Carmen OTC group? All right, quite a few people. Who's absolutely, who doesn't know what OTC is? All right. OTC stands for NACHO?
Over the counter.
Over the counter. Over the counter, which is what Didi was talking about. Over the counter means me and Ori I've got some Bitcoin. Ori's got some cash. Ori, do you want some Bitcoin?
I want some Bitcoin.
You want some Bitcoin?
Absolutely.
I need some cash. So me and Ori meet. Hi. How you doing? We meet in a nice public place like here. We might already know each other. We sit down. I send her some Bitcoin. Can I have the cash? Awesome. Take care. That's OTC, over the counter. So we have a community here, and it's a nice, easy way to just be able to exchange. And it requires trust. Yeah, the guy you're working with, you know him, you trust him?
I trust him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. But my point is, you're not calling a random dude. It's a person you've built a relationship with. Well, enough of a relationship. Yeah, okay, cool. A cup of coffee. That's OTC. We got a question.
I have a point on that I'd like to raise before you change the topic. So, I mean, I think I hear what you're saying, right? And it's a valid question, but I mean, I think that's kind of, that's not what we're here to talk about, right? Like, if you want to get cash, go sign up on Coinbase, give them your ID and where you're born and a photo of your gonads and everything else they want, and they'll send some money to your bank account. It's that simple. But what we are all trying to do here, I think, is to try and avoid that situation, which is the traditional fiat system, where they know everything about you, they own everything about you, they control how you can use your money. And so what you want to be trying to do is to get out of that mentality of how can I pay directly with Bitcoin. When you have that circular economy where, like Didi's talking about, you go talk to the guy and he accepts Bitcoin and you pay him directly with Bitcoin, that's when the system ends. Because if I'm going to pay him and he's going to pay me and going to pay you, etc., with Bitcoin, there's nothing that anyone can do to stop that. It's uncensorable money, right? And the quicker that everyone makes that mental shift into paying with crypto directly, the more that you will see that whole, all the negative experiences that you have with the traditional financial system go away. So, but I just wanted to follow through. If you are going to go down that road, certainly Bitrefill, like you said, I think that's the #1 site that everyone should look at. Now, its usefulness varies depending on what country you're in and what you do, but Bitrefill, you can pay with a lot of stuff on Bitrefill. Another really good one is cheapair.com. You can pay all your hotels, all your flights through that there. So those two, primarily, I pay for everything with the exception of my food and my rent using purely those two sites. And if I wanted to, for example, to fork out on Airbnb vouchers or pay for hotels via cheapeater.com. I could be paying for my accommodation through that. And if I wanted to eat, like you're saying, at Burger King or something like that, which I don't, but if you did, I could do that through Bitrefill. I could live pretty much 100% on Bitcoin.
Nacho, can you repeat again the two ways?
So Bitrefill, like you refill your glass,
Bitrefill.
bits like Bitcoin, bitrefill.com. And you buy gift cards on there for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And cheapair.com is another one that's like
Cheap
travel
air?
agent. Cheap air, like cheapair.com. Yeah. And there's a number of other sites that kind of do the same thing, but they're the two I'd recommend that I use all the time. So yeah.
Cool. And I just want to clarify something that Nacho brought up there. At the beginning, I talked about different ways that crypto can interlace with society, which I'm going to come on to with Javier in a moment. But what Eddie was talking about there is like the most simplest of ways, but it doesn't necessarily solve the equation of living in crypto. If all you're going to do is cash out and spend cash, you might have your assets in crypto, but you're not living in crypto because you're just spending cash. So it's like I don't want to say levels are higher and lower, but it's the most simplest thing we can do. I've got crypto and I need cash. But then we start lacing where we can have the crypto turn into cash or paying for things, and then like using Bitrefill. So in Bitrefill, it's not cashing out into cash, but he can pay a bill directly through a third party. But then the next layer above that is where the vendor accepts Bitcoin. This is where we want to be moving to. So I want to separate these out, because if all you're thinking about is cashing out, we're not solving the initial problem or the initial question about like what's wrong with the current system. Some of the stuff Didi talked about. So I just want to create that separation in everyone's mind, because you might be thinking, oh, well, if I can cash out, I'm solved. But this goes way deeper than that. So Javier, if you don't mind just sharing, I know that you run a space here, and I know you're very, very, very proud of what you've built. So if you could just to kind of help Eddie wants to buy a beer and a burger, and he wants to chill at a rooftop and enjoy himself, but he just has Bitcoin. Oh no, what could he do?
Okay, so we're going another layer now. I'm setting up a rooftop in which you can buy burgers, beer, whatever you want, only in Bitcoin. Have 50% discount. You pay in fiat, is double the amount you have to pay. Okay,
50%. Give him a round of applause for that.
Yes, buddy. Okay.
Burgers on the house.
I'm living the other way you are trying to live. Since pandemic moment started, my bank account was shut down. I don't have any cash. I use only Bitcoin. I don't use Bitcoin. I use Satoshis. Someone knows who it's Sats?
Who?
Yeah.
Hang on. Who doesn't know what a Satoshi is? Okay, I want someone in the audience to answer this, actually. Where's the mic? Can you answer the question?
Yes, I can. Satoshi Bitcoin in 8 decimal. I'm cutting in and out.
Can you repeat about it? Because
yeah, Bitcoin is
just one second.
8 decimal points. The first one being 1 Satoshi and all the way up. If people get
there,
that.
we go. So Bitcoin has 8 decimal points, just like a dollar has 2. Dollar actually has 8 if you are an institution, and a dollar has 5 decimal places if you are trading foreign exchange. But we only see 2 of them, and a Bitcoin has 8. Yeah, and each one of those little pieces, like we have dollars and cents, we have Bitcoins, and we have Satoshis. So that's a Satoshi.
Exactly. Satoshi nowadays is almost all Salvador is in Satoshis. Salvador nowadays is adopting Bitcoin. So transactions in Satoshis without fee transaction. So you can translate Bitcoins to A to B without fee. So that's good. And then what I created, it's a multi-payment system in which you can pay whatever you want. You put in the cart a beer, 2 beers, 1 burger, 1 smoothie, a coffee, whatever. Once all the card is set up, an invoice will come out, a pop-up invoice come up, and you can pay in Bitcoin or you can pay in Sats. And in the same place, you can put dollars and you receive Bitcoin without fee transaction. So it will be an ATM on the place. Yes. and I work there. I really live the other way. I have miners. I know always mining, and I transform everything to USDT, and I sell USDT, and I try to live that way, like being my own Fed. You know, that's the way I live.
You mean being your own central bank?
I'm my own central bank. Yes.
Okay, we got it. We got a guys had a
We have
question
two
for
questions.
a long time. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah.
Hopefully it work this time.
Wow.
I was wondering about the OTC you guys here. If it's like local Bitcoins, or if it's a more private, more personable.
No.
Because it's gonna be tracked on local.
I
Bitcoins,
work
that
a
kind of
lot.
thing.
Perhaps I'm very active in OTC channel we have in Discord, and it's very simple. You set up a meeting on a coffee. How much do you want to exchange? You bring the money. I send the BTC. 3 minutes transaction. We take a beer and you leave. That's all. No KYC. I don't ask any name.
Can I just drop another name there that you might not be aware of, which isn't necessarily going to solve the local cash problem, but it's one when you mention local Bitcoins that most people don't know of and that everyone should know of, and it's a site called or an application called BISC. Has anyone heard of BISC?
BISC, how do you spell it?
BISC.
BISQ. So BISC is a decentralized peer-to-peer application that lets you coordinate peer-to-peer trades in a way that preserves trust, and they're going to steal your Bitcoins. That they can handle that sort of issue, but there's no KYC or anything like that required. So, for example, I have a US bank account, and so I can just organize on there directly with someone to send me money over Zelle. I transfer the Bitcoins to an escrow account, which BISC handles in a secure way. I get the money through Zelle, and then when the money arrives, the Bitcoin gets released to them. I click release, it goes to them. And that's another way that it's kind of doing what local Bitcoins is doing. But for some people, it's more handy to get cash into your bank account than in your hand. And that's an implication that everyone should look into, where you can do that without all the KYC and other sort of bullshit. And it's criminally underused. So it's one that I highly recommend that you look into.
Cool. Thank you very much for that, man.
I have
And
another question.
The other question? What's your name, bro?
My name is O. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Fair
I
enough.
like it.
All right. Didi, I was listening to you earlier. First of all, man, I remember watching TV and seeing this guy had sold everything, his family, taking everybody. And I was like, this guy is a rock star. Right on. My question to you is, you were kind of like giving him advice, and it was about, like, you were saying, like, you know, you give, I guess, like, in credit cards to your daughters, whatever the case is, and they just pay with their Bitcoin or whatever through that. Living out here, what would you recommend exactly for us to, like, you know, use our crypto so that we can, like, pretty much pay for, like, our whatever our rent, lifestyle, all that stuff? Exactly. You know, like, if we just want to live out and be like, hey, listen, would you, like, he give us BISC and cheap air, what would you recommend exactly?
There are so many things, but for me, it's the most important part is the house. I have that covered one Bitcoin. Then you get to the food. I'm a lazy guy. I can't cook. I'm like this on the kitchen. My wife wants to cook, but I don't want her to cook because I'm like, live the life. We can do it that way. So I found a guy here that is a chef cook that brings you breakfast, lunch, and dinner for about, what do we pay my oldest daughter? I think $50 per day for the 5 of us. Completely freshly prepared, and he accepts Bitcoin. So my food is also covered. Then the only thing left is when the kids want new makeup or something. So then the search starts. Then we go, okay, hunting for coupons. Is it possible? Is it not possible? Can we do a creative way? Can we just ask them and make a video about it for YouTube? If they don't accept, then the only 2 options left are an OTC deal to cash, or use my Bitcoin debit card, and then I get a cash back. So I prefer the Bitcoin debit card because on everything I spend, I get like 2% or 4% back in crypto again. So for them, 16, 14, for my kids, 16, 14, and 11 years old, they are not allowed to have a debit card. So I found a company in Spain. It's called Bitsa. They allow
Bitsa, B-I-T-S-A?
B-I-T-S-A card, and they have a Bitsa Young card so that you can give to your kids. So they have their savings account in Bitcoin. They get their allowance in Bitcoin, all on their cards or on their hardware wallets, and we just educate them to spend them like that. But it doesn't say that I not spend cash, because just very short, last year I was here and I want to build a school for poor people in Tulum. I couldn't fund them with Bitcoins. I did raise Bitcoins. I did an OTC deal on cash. I built the school with cash. I built the builders, needed to pay in cash. And now this year we're going to educate them in how to accept Bitcoins as a donation and how to pay their employees in donation and Bitcoins as well. So it's step by step.
Can we get a round of applause for that, please? Guys, there's no point having the money if we can't do something good with it as well.
I just wanted to chip in two things, just building on what Didi specifically covered. One I probably should have mentioned with BitRefill, right, is that on there you can buy Uber vouchers. And if you've got Uber vouchers, they're valid in Uber Eats. And so you can then go on Uber Eats and any food that you can buy, you have to order it through Uber Eats. But for example, I was in the States 2 or 3 months ago, and all my food I bought with DoorDash. You can get DoorDash vouchers there, same thing. And I just ordered pickup. I didn't want to deliver it to go pick up. So you just order pickup and then you walk there and you buy it. Anything on DoorDash or Uber Eats, you can buy with Bitcoin using a voucher like that. So it's kind of a little bit of a hack. And sometimes with these things, you got to get a little creative, right? You got to think about like, so I know I can do this, I can do that. So therefore I can kind of get around and do it that way. So that's another way that you can eat with Bitcoin. When it comes to the debit cards, I just wanted to bring another one to people's attention because I'm not a big fan of these. I mean, you've got to give away all your details. They're tracking all your financial transactions or your Bitcoin transactions. Usually they all go to one Bitcoin address all the time, so it's like really crappy privacy. But the thing I also don't like about these cards is that they're purely Visa, right? And they're also like anyone that was around in like 2017, 2016 would know what happened with all these guys that were issued by, thank you very much, one issuer called Wavecrest, and they all got canceled at the same time, and around about August or July, I think it was 2017. So that's the issue with those kind of cards. One option I would like to bring to everyone's attention that I have just recently, these guys have kind of relaunched, and I don't see them doing any marketing, so I think they're doing like a soft launch. There's a company called Xapo, Xapo. They're like a super old school Bitcoin company that kind of hasn't really been doing much for a long time, but they've just relaunched, and how they've relaunched is they've actually bought a bank in Gibraltar. So they have a banking license and a digital asset services provider, whatever it's called, license. So with Xapo, not only do you have a card that you can use, but you also have a bank account with your name on it. And that's one thing which I think is a little lacking with some of these cards is if you are going to go to cash, and you want to get it into your bank account, or you want to transfer money, you can't really do that with those. With Xapo, you actually have a bank account, and when that money comes in, another thing that people experience is that if you sell money on, say, Binance, and you transfer a shitload of money into a bank account, a lot of banks will close your account. With Xapo, now I'll take this with it because I haven't actually tried it yet, but I do know it's got your name on the bank account, so it just looks to them like you're transferring money from your bank in Gibraltar to your bank wherever it is. So that's just another option I want to bring to everyone's attention of when it comes to the card stuff. That seems to be kind of the better one out there on the market, and they've only just recently relaunched a couple of months ago, so it's not.
And you said something that's really interesting. Just people are happy to share who's either had, because of crypto, their bank account closed or frozen. Okay, I've had one of mine done 4 times now, to the point where I try not to even send anything there anymore. Like it's so difficult. So like these things, and it's becoming. I work with some people that are from Canada, and for those people from Canada, trying to get money into crypto and from Canada or back out is just, it's worse than the USA. Like I thought the USA was hard to just do transactions sometimes, but Canada is really tough. So it's changing all around the world. So having access to things like Xapo, having access to things like the vouchers, these are just. It's not as convenient, but you remember whenever we have convenience, we're giving up something somewhere else, yeah? And all 4 people here have got different opinions on privacy, tax, security. Like, no one's right or wrong, but it's the reason we're on here is not to all agree. If we all agree, 4 of us aren't needed, yeah? So these different viewpoints are there to just have a different thought points. I think Madala had a question, and then I'm going to come to you, Peter. Is that okay? Cool. Oh, sorry. And then this way around. I'll come to you next, then you. Is it on? Is it turned on?
2.
Go for it again. There's some battery. Battery. Okay, take this for now. I'll get this sorted. Don't worry.
Hello, this question is for Javier.
Sorry. Yes, I was seeing this table is.
You thought it was flying.
Yes. No. Look there. I thought it was gonna blow everything away. Tell me. Sorry.
Okay. So I want to know, for example, what's the technology that you're using to transfer when we want to pay in your business with Bitcoin? What's the technology that you're using so that it's not very expensive to transfer? First question. Second, if you created or got this technology, can it be used or can it be extended so that when we want to transfer peer-to-peer, it's way more cheaper? Yeah.
Exactly. First of all, the technology starts is Lightning payments. Okay, everything is developed in a second layer of Bitcoin. It's between channels. It's a huge channel open in the bar that really Lightning payments functions with a huge channel and different channels open around. It's connections, communication. It's like communication 100%. You open channels and you transact sats to one peer-to-peer, one to two, or A to B. No transaction. One sat is the fee. So imagine. And the second question is the way we can use it P2P. You can create a P2P also with an API key. You create an API key directly to the two users, and it's like creating a smart contract in Ethereum. If someone needs this amount of Bitcoin, it must transact this amount of money. But in a way, really, this is very, very deeply because it's almost 2 months. Taproot is 2 months ago developed now, so long time we have for smart contracts in Bitcoin now, but you can do it with directly with the server we are using to create invoices. Because you can transact, for example, I can send you Bitcoin. You tell me the amount that I can send you, but it's very difficult to create an invoice with different items. And at the same moment, you can create the same, with the same QR, you can pay in Bitcoin or you can pay in Lightning payments directly to the node. So that's very good because you can choose. But the only coin you're using is Bitcoin. You have Bitcoin, you send Bitcoin. You don't have to use sats. But if you got sats, no fee transaction. Blockchain will not charge anything because it's off-chain. It's not on-chain in blockchain.
Cool. Does that answer?
Right,
So
just one.
Yeah, sure.
And I promise this will be very quick.
Not
What are you
short and
paying?
quick.
What are you paying for fees when you're saying these transactions are expensive? What are you paying? Change your wallet. That's bullshit. The Bitcoin fees have not been like over $1.84 in the last 3 or 4 months, right? And if you go and do a Bitcoin withdrawal on Binance, they will charge you $20, and they're robbing you blind, guys. Do your homework on the stuff. Go on. Look, what you should do for everyone is go to a website called mempool.space. All right.
How are you spelling mem?
Mem, M-E-M.
M-E-M,
Pool as in like a swimming pool dot space, right? There's a number of websites that do what this does, but this is a block explorer that also shows, you know, what the current state of the Bitcoin mempool and transactions are. That will give you a really good estimate of what you should be paying for fees to get in the next block, or if you're prepared to wait 2 or 3, you know, sort of half an hour, a couple of hours, what you should pay for the fees. Now, most companies are absolutely fucking you on the fees. 100% they're fucking you. A lot of wallets as well don't. It's a hard problem to solve about charging the right Bitcoin fee where you're actually going to land in. It's kind of like trying to hit a moving target. So you also find if wallets haven't got good fee estimation, that you may end up overpaying. So something like mempool space, just without making this a whole long technical thing, should give you a pretty good idea what you should be paying for a Bitcoin fee. And if you're paying more than that, you're getting ripped. Do your homework, get your own wallet, custody your own keys and your own coins, and use that. And yeah.
And to give people an idea, like today or this week, what's the average BTC price for a transaction?
At the moment, I'm just guessing. At the moment, it will probably be at 1 or 2 sats. It has been for most of the last while.
Tell people in a.
That's about 8 cents. 8 cents for a fee for a transaction.
0.08.
0. Yeah. 8 as in
8 cents for a transaction. It's pretty cheap, isn't it?
That's what you should be paying generally, and unless you're like really in a hurry, and in most cases 8 cents will get you in 10 minutes anyway. But so just keep your eye on that, and if you're seeing a disconnect in what you're paying, do some reading. Again, it's a whole side topic. I don't want to diverge into that, but do you some reading because you're getting ripped.
Yeah, because we're going to move on here because that's a really good thing he shared here is that earlier you said it like it's all. It can be a bit of a faff paying for whatever you want to pay for, but it's like, what do you want out of life? Like, what do you? If you really just want super convenience, then well, crypto's not super convenient. It's a bit techy, it's clunky at times. It needs more than just what you've been doing with fiat, but it gives you so much more as well. So I think the minute you make the decision that I want to exist in this world more, you accept putting in a bit more. And if you are living in BTC paying $20, I'm not saying you are, Madela, but if you are, then all of a sudden you might say, this is worth my time. If you owned a business and you want people to pay for a $1 beer, then again, you want to be paying in sats or even on the Lightning Network. So we have a question over here. Peter, you had a question, sir?
I'm not actually in question. I had this this guy from Canada who wanted to put money into crypto. And what I found out, if you put the money from Canadian dollars into euro, you have no problem at all. So it's easy, wise, you know, but it's a way to help these people.
Wouldn't it be down to, just turn mine down a bit, wouldn't it be down to the bank or not the currency?
Yeah, maybe a Revolut bank. You can connect it maybe to, you know, these people want to, like, this guy wanted to join a new launch of NFT gaming this weekend we have, and he wants to put money in before it starts, you know, and this, yeah, he said, can you help me? I said, yeah, no problem. If it's not 10, 20,000.
Did he send it to you? Sorry.
Yes, he sent it to me.
Yeah,
I help him.
But that's you using your bank.
He can do
works.
it. I teach him now to do it himself.
Okay.
So I monitored every step and I send it to him. So next time he can do it himself, you know.
And that's using
We have to
Revolut.
teach each other how to do it. You can go around there is always a way to go around things, I believe.
To what?
We have another question.
Yeah, let people know. Tell people. We're going to come to you next.
I just want to comment one thing.
Do you want to say something?
Yeah, because I came here to talk about Bitcoin, and I've been hearing the word banks now like 1,000,000 times. Please, fuck the banks. Sorry, I'm getting sick. All your money on your banks is undergoing inflation, which means in a year or 4, you won't be able to buy the same amount of hamburgers that you can buy now with that money. Please put it in Bitcoin, save your capital. Stop talking about banks, stop talking about cashing out, stop all of that stuff. Just start to live Bitcoin. Believe it. It's a 4-year cycle. Dollar cost average in, dollar cost average out. Spend in between, convict small businesses to use his product, and we take the power back to the people. If you, I will repeat it one more time. If you use their money, they will be able to take control of you. If you don't use their money, they cannot control you. That is the revolution behind Bitcoin. Sorry, I need to say that in between.
does that start to land for people now? Like, I know there's a million questions, but like, I want to just see this separation that once you're in the layer, so many of the questions just dissolve. It's up to you whether, like with the tax thing, like how you want to declare things or anything like that. And I'm not suggesting anything anyway. And obviously none of this is financial advice, but I want you to see that the minute you're in this layer, Peter, sorry, man, we got a lot to go through. Once you're in this layer, so many of the questions are non-questions. This is what I want people to just go away with. It's more than just, oh, it's my investment and I cash out. So much more is expansive. Someone has been waiting a long time. Is it a question about a bank?
No, but I don't want to disappoint with the question if you're going to set it up that way, you know. With the long context. But it is related to sort of what you guys are talking about.
What's your name, brother?
It's Nick.
Nick. Hi,
and
Nick.
I am one of those poor souls from Canada trying to deal with Bitcoin.
Welcome home, Nick.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just going to ask about how do you mentally deal with that sort of like the Laszlo's pizza valuation issue? You know, when the guy back in the day, like my Bitcoin knowledge and exposure was a little far back, but I'm just getting to it now again, just learning stuff. But the guy who bought 3 pizzas for 10,000
Pizza
Bitcoin,
boy.
right? Laszlo, or whatever his name is. Like, how do you deal with that if Bitcoin is, I don't know if it is supposed to be or not, but store of wealth or whatever. But like, if you're spending Bitcoin on random stuff during the day, you know, maybe in 5 years, that beer you bought is now, you know.
So your question is, how do you deal with the mental psychology of spending and living in Bitcoin, when in 5 years you might look back and that one beer is now worth a house.
That is, as well as the whole, you know, like the value of the money you're trying to store, whatever, right?
NFT.
I'm not saying that word.
Go on. Anyone care to give an opinion?
Say something. You can't take it with you, dude. You gotta eat. You know, you gotta do your stuff. Some things are more important than money. And when you're, you know, like for me,
Bitcoin.
I'm paid in Bitcoin, so I must spend Bitcoin. You know, I have no other option other than to spend Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean, you're right. You know, and I think a positive thing about a deflationary money is it does change your mindset. And one of the greatest gifts of Bitcoin to the world is getting out of this consumerist mindset of spend. Your dollar is going down in value, and so why not think about the immediate future? And this whole concept that's been popularized by Bitcoin recently about the idea of time preference, right? About thinking for the future and planning for the future. When your money appreciates in value, you think about these things in a totally different way. So there is, I completely hear what you're saying, and you're right. But I mean, at the same time, it's like your money exists for you to enjoy life too, right? You know, so I think it's good. It does change that, right? You do think twice compared to like dollars, but you know, I mean, like I said, you gotta eat, you gotta do your stuff. And so to me, I'm just like, I've got enough Bitcoins, and I'm, well, you never have enough, but I have enough where I'm not worrying about like buying a beer or something with Bitcoin, right? And I think like this is the part that I play in creating that circular economy, and that circular economy makes me win, right? So it's almost like you're investing in a sense, because it's oversimplifying, but the more I use Bitcoin, the bigger economy gets, the more people get involved, the more the price goes up, the more the Bitcoin they already have goes up. It kind of takes care of itself.
Gab, you wanted to... it's
Just short again. Sorry, I always talk too much. Ask my wife. I will ask the question the other way around. How do you feel on spending fiat on hamburgers or cars and not buying Bitcoin for it, and realizing 4 years later, oh shit, I could have been a millionaire. It's, you always need to look at it from two sides. So that's the other side of the story.
Because really what the question is a take profit question. Like forget the fact you're spending on a beer. The question is, how am I going to feel about taking some profit now, and in 5 years it could have been worth more? Like it's how many people here have got diamond hands and don't sell at all? Ooh, let's have a little couple, yeah. And diamond hands is a skill, but I'll tell you what, it's also a liability, because you have diamond hands. Who's rid it up and rid it all the way down as well? Like we all know what that feels like, yeah. So it's a take profit question. The fact that it's pizza is irrelevant. Gabriel, did you want to say something on that?
But there is one website, Bitcoin or Shit, bitcoinorshit.com, and it will show you how much Bitcoin you could have bought instead of the Nintendo or 50 Shades of Grey, or really funny site, bitcoinorshit.com. Sorry.
You should be good. You should be good.
Are we good?
Yeah, you're good.
So I was going to say that's one of the reasons why I use collateralized depositions, because I borrow a stable coin.
Come on, guys. Come on. Just
because the psychology for me, I think the same way. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to spend my Bitcoin. I don't want to spend my Ethereum. I don't want to spend my Chainlink. So I pull against my depositions as DAI and then send it to my wallet. So I'm not actually exiting a position. And so that psychology helps me like deal with that, because I'm not like, there's been so many times I pull out during a cycle and I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have put that out, because it's so.
Yeah, so you're using creative financial techniques within trading,
yes,
to extract some of that capital.
Exactly, without actually losing my position.
Yeah,
so I don't have to think about like, damn, I just spent 5 Bitcoin on this particular thing and it went up and missed opportunity. I don't have that kind of mindset with my particular strategy.
Cool. Thank you very much, man. Okay, we got more questions at the back. All right, who have we got?
Hi.
What's your name?
Janina.
Janina.
Hi.
Hi, Janina.
A bit more of a practical question, maybe a bit of a sad side, but so you accumulate all these coins over the span of your year, of your life, and at the end of your life, you also have to think about a bit about inheritance. You have maybe a family or whatever. So maybe you can give some practical advice or tips that you have, how you have set it up, your inheritance planning a little bit, or in case something happens, what you would recommend to do so your coins and your wealth don't get lost.
So I'm going to summarize that question. You earn Bitcoin, get Bitcoin, and die. How do you successfully give it to your family? Yeah? Do you want water? Can we get 4? Okay, who wants to go for that? You die. In fact, let's just make it a bit more difficult. if you died tomorrow, because some people haven't got things set up. Yeah, heaven forbid for everybody.
Okay.
Like private. Yeah. So how do we do it?
There's multiple options nowadays. Of course, your wife and your kids know where you hide your ledgers, so they just need the ledger, and then they just need the password, and they can extract the bitcoins. That's one option. There's a Swiss company, I think it's called Swiss Safe, and that one makes a multi-signature wallet where they keep one part of the deal and you keep one part of the deal. So if you die, they clear the whole inheritance story as well. So the whole industry is evolving, you know. So we started with nothing and we are growing into solving all that stuff. But the moment you do it like me, non-KYC, all your bitcoins disappearing from the world, then the only option is to educate your wife and your kids, and maybe even the parents-in-law where the ledgers are. Because if we crash in an airplane, there's a shitload of bitcoins somewhere that, you know, the grandparents need to have access to, for example. So yeah, that's be your own bank means also be responsible for your own safety and your all own inheritance plan and everything. My advice is, don't think about that far future, about dying, inheritance. Just enjoy every day and just spend your bitcoins. It's way more easy.
Anyone else want to answer?
I just want to drop a company which I think is worth looking into there. It's called Casa, C-A-S-A, like house in Spanish. They've got some solutions to this as well.
People can't just Google the word Casa.
Yeah, I think they can. Well, it's casa.com. So
casa.com. All right, okay, that's cool. Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, they've got some interesting solutions for this with multi-sig, where they can kind of handle this particular issue. So it's not something that I have personally invested a lot of time in because I'm not in that position. But that's just one company I know which is dealing with that particular issue.
I like to think about it like this. If most people have never owned gold before, we just have bank accounts. But if you've ever owned gold, then you have to can I just pick up your phone? Is that okay? You got to do something with it. And so if it's yours, and it's this idea of sovereign finance, Bitcoin it's yours. You are your own bank. And that comes with what did Spider-Man say? Great power and comes great responsibility. So you've got this gold coin and you're going to die. This is the same as a ledger. Put it somewhere, or a copy. You can have more than one ledger of the same seed. So put it somewhere with instructions, just like you would do with any asset or any important document. Or I don't know, there's a million things people might want to pass on. So long as someone has it or has access to it, like Didi said, if you die in a plane crash, another copy somewhere else. In a way, it's really simple, but we just don't think about it that much. Are we good? Next question.
Got another question here.
Another question. We've got a couple at the front as well if someone wants to come. I've got one at the back there. So just make sure everyone can see their hands. That's cool. Okay, go on for it.
Hi, I'm just wondering, is Bitcoin too big to fail now, or what's stopping this from failing? Is Satoshi part of the elites and it's to filter our money and actually make most of us lose our money?
Ooh, is it from aliens?
Tickle your brain with that.
I don't know. Let's go for it. Who's good? So let's summarize this. Sorry. So is Bitcoin too big to fail, or coming from the stance that it's good? I'm assuming from that question, or is it somehow siphoning our money to then intentionally fail? Is that the kind of the question?
Kind of like moving into a cashless system.
No, I think she wants to say the CIA.
What's to stop crypto from failing like every other white paper and losing all your money?
Okay, there we got a question.
Well, the simple answer is nothing, and that's exactly why it has value, because nothing is propping this up. It's pure physics, thermodynamics, and code is what you see there, right? And so in that sense, any monetary system has the flaws that you're talking about, right? Like if people want to stop accepting gold, well, your gold is worthless, right? You know, so monies are in a sense a confidence game. That, you know, they have value because people believe they have value, but I also believe it's very clearly there are better monies than others, right? And there's a reason why gold was accepted by millions of cultures that didn't know each other exist, and they all arrived on the idea that this is the best form of money because it has the best monetary properties. So my answer to that would be that I believe very clearly, and I think this is not opinion, this is objective fact, Bitcoin is the best money that has ever been existed in the world ever. And for that reason, for sure it could fail, but what would fail would be the network or something about perhaps SHA-256 or something like cryptography. But what really, what Bitcoin is really about is the UTXO set, which is a complicated way of saying, you've got 2 Bitcoins and I've got 5 and he's got 3 or whatever it is, right? So Bitcoin is really a way for us all to agree in a trustless manner about the state of affairs. And if Bitcoin was to fail, you could very easily just reboot that UTXO set in a different network with a different system of cryptography, different consensus system. And I struggle to imagine a world where, given where we are already, where that would not be based on the Bitcoin UTXO set, because the people who have the most amount of money and the most incentivized and the smartest people are incentivized to make that one succeed. So yes, it could fail, but I think what's more important than the things that might make it fail is the state of affairs, the ledger that underlies it. And I believe if that was to happen, then that ledger will be the starting point that we might reboot on some other sort of system. So that's really the beauty of Bitcoin is the ledger and the trustless way that we can agree on the state of affairs. And I think that's the real revolution beyond even the amazingness of the technology and the way it's solved the Byzantine generals problem is that there. And so that would be my kind of answer. It's the same as everything else, but I think it's just a more trustable system than certainly the traditional financial one.
Okay, Nacho, that was really, really good. You know what I'm going to ask now, though, don't you? Yeah, like I love Nacho very, very much. He can give some phenomenal answers, but I'm trying to summarize that. And I'll be honest. Normally, I'm pretty good at it, but I'm doing a good job. What I heard there was that you've got Bitcoin, and then we have a ledger. The ledger just is like who's got what. So even if the Bitcoin network, we'll think about the network as being like the way the ledger information moves. You're saying the highway could collapse because it got blown up by the CIA. However, the ledger's intact, and I can just take the ledger, or I would imagine a consensus of people would take the ledger, start it up on a new highway, and just carry on. Does that work? Does that answer your question? Yeah?
Last question on this side, and then
Last question on this side. Thank you very much. Can we just give a round of applause for Nacho for that? Source of all technical knowledge. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Andrew.
Andrew?
Andrew.
Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Canada, yeah. I want to backtrack a little bit to the transactions.
Okay.
So the question is, in terms of, because I'm working a lot with credit cards, and one of the big benefits is you can do subscriptions. You can charge clients, just take their credit card and do subscription.
So you're talking about as a business owner?
That's correct. So that's what I'm wondering about the crypto in general. If there is a closer. Okay. Technology, like, is it NFT or can we do it like, is there a way to do the similar way? Like, for example, you go to a service, you subscribe, you give a credit card, and they charge your credit card automatically for a certain amount. You give your consent to charge. From what I understand, with Bitcoin, you hold your wallet, and unless you approve it every single time, it doesn't work that way. I think there is an NFT that can kind of help that way. I'm not sure. That's kind of my question is, I am not sure what is the way, if there is a way to do it that way as well. And it's kind of leads, maybe I'll try to squeeze in a second question in there.
Well, can I summarize this one first?
Okay, sure.
So you're saying I'm a business owner. I charge people for subscriptions, but when I charge them, I want Bitcoin.
Exactly. I want to do subscription.
You want to charge someone $50
right
with their credit card
per month,
but you want to receive no point. You want to receive
no. The question is, if I want, like, if I sign a contract with the client and saying this is how much they pay me per month, but I actually charge them in crypto, not in fiat. Can I do a subscription in fiat? Oh, in crypto, sorry.
Oh, so you want so you want to be able? I want to sign up for something that's 500 satoshis
let's say
a month.
Let's say you have Netflix. You pay Netflix every month, but instead of paying fiat, you want to pay crypto. Is there technology possible to do it? Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
cool. I got the question.
The answer is yes. Cryptos generally are a push payment system. With Lightning, that does exist. That has been developed, but it's a little embryonic at the moment. So if you were saying right now, this moment, probably my answer is no. But I think, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about, Yavi, right? Like maybe 6 months, I guess that's possible. And I mean, there's other ways, where you could for example, have a business where someone deposits Bitcoin into the business and then they withdraw it out of your Bitcoin account there, which is kind of a shitty way involving a middleman, but that would do the job. But yeah, that's an issue that a lot of people have struggled with for a while. Of the subscription service, subscription system relies on pull payments, not push payments, and almost every crypto is a push system because that's kind of.
But you're saying 6 months away. Is that a Taproot upgrade? So it's part of Taproot.
No, it's part of Lightning, but it's just developing the way that you can do a reusable invoice, which also allows you to pull from someone's. And there's issues about making sure your channels are topped up and things like that there. But yes, that can be done. But like right now, in this moment, I mean, if you're a super developer and stuff, kind of. But the real answer is no. But probably 6 months-ish, I would say that will be coming.
So I should be looking at Lightning Network for that.
Lightning is definitely where that's the only way that I'm aware of that's being done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much, Andrew. Where are we going to next?
Can I say something, Danny?
Yeah, keep going.
Perhaps something of my business. Everything in my business is in dollars. You know why? Because people don't know how to understand sats.
Yeah.
Or how much amount of sats you need to pay a burger. So I try to use everything in dollars, and in the moment that they're going to pay with an API key and market price, directly the invoice comes in sats. But for the people, they're going to buy it in dollars, but at the same time, they're sending Bitcoin. So the first step is dollars, because the people have that education now. 2 or 3 months, or perhaps 6 months, I will have a burger in 500,000 sats. And no one understands that. Only the people who is involved. So I cannot have a small amount of people. I need a lot of people to get involved. So the first step is put everything in dollars. I say, okay, this is $4. It could be like 100 sats. Okay, I paid. But yes, you could do it. I don't know where the sky now, but you can do it also with a system payment or push payment, like he said.
Cool. Thank you very much, Javier. Okay, we got 2 questions here. One at the back. What's your name, man?
My name is Mark.
Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hi. So this question is directed to Gabriel, but I'd be curious to get everybody else's opinion as well. So Janet Yellen was talking about unrealized gains. She's now governor at the Fed, or she's Treasury Secretary now at the Fed. To the extent that unrealized gains become a reality, how do you see that playing out along with the chain of operations that you gave, where you use a collateralized debt obligation instead of spending your Bitcoin? So how do you see that playing out? Have you thought about unrealized gains and their effect on that method of preserving your capital? And have you thought about that generally in terms of effect on the price?
That is a great question. That is a great question.
Thanks, Mark.
I have thought about that. If that does happen, then I would have to completely change my strategy, because everything would be considered a taxable event, right? And so, anybody want to answer this question? I can't even answer it because I haven't even.
I mean, I can kind of hazard a guess of it very much pains me to say this, but this might be why you might want to look at something like DeFi, even though personally I'm very skeptical about that, versus you can achieve. So what you're talking like, I use a service called NACHO, and there's a number of alternative ones where you can deposit your Bitcoin as collateral, and they'll take a collateralized loan against it, right? So I put $10,000 of Bitcoin into their Bitcoin address, and I can borrow up to $5,000 of Bitcoin and withdraw that to my bank account, but it's not a sale. So, which I think is what you were kind of.
What I was saying, which is exactly what I do because I use MakerDAO. However, if that kind of legislation goes through, they've already been cracking down on DeFi, Uniswap, trying to get all that KYC information from those protocols. So DeFi may not essentially be DeFi if that legislation goes through. So that's the problem. Like DeFi may no longer exist.
So the one I'm using is just purely, you give them your ID, your photo of your gonads, all that kind of stuff, and it's the money is sitting in their account, right? Now with DeFi, in theory, it's different, but I think in reality, when they really start to turn the screws on that, I think you might find that they're not quite as decentralized as the marketing might lead you to believe. But it is an interesting thing, and this is why everyone should pay a lot more attention than they do to privacy in this space. And it's very important, and a lot of people don't know nothing about it, have very casual and I would say dangerous attitudes about privacy in the space.
Can I ask you a direct question on that, Nacho?
Yes.
Because we're on the last sort of like, well, 8-ish minutes. We're going to do a speed run in a minute.
Sure.
But if you have all your Bitcoin as non-KYC, do you give a fuck what Janet Yellen does?
No, come and take it.
Didi, do you give a fuck what Janet Yellen does?
Good luck to you.
I can't even say her name.
But that means you've got to have your ducks in a row. And kind of coming back to the question that you had, and that you had as well, is this is promoted as decentralized, right? But just like the way Binance is fucking you on the fees, if you not do your homework and you're relying on a third-party company, well, they're going to take advantage of you just like a bank and everyone else does, right? Even worse. So a lot of these things, to come back to that idea there, is the onus is on you to do your homework and do your due diligence about how do I counter that particular scenario, right? And that means you've got to do some reading, and it's complicated stuff. But like you said, with great power comes great responsibility. This is freedom money. Freedom money means that you also need to take responsibility for that freedom. No one's going to give it to you. You must take it, right? So that can be resisted. But if people don't dot their I's and cross their T's, it's a lot more trivial than you might have been led to believe for them to just tax it or obtain that money otherwise. So it is something to consider.
Okay, we're going to leave that one there, because when you hear this music behind, that means we are down to our last 10 minutes, because at 9 o'clock, both of these bars kick off big time. So we have about 11 minutes of audible listening time left before you have a cacophony of music. So we're going to do a speed round. If you have a question, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your last chance. 6 questions. 7. 14 minutes. There's like a minute and a half each, and I need to wrap up. There's 4 people here. 1 answer per question. Decide amongst yourselves who has a good answer. Who's got a question first? Go for it.
Hey, how's it going? This one's probably for Didi. Obviously, after 2017 boom, we had the crypto winter, prolonged bear market. In March 20, obviously, we had the coronavirus crash. The market went down, Bitcoin 3K. How did you and your family weather these market movements? And, did it shake your faith in Bitcoin?
How do I weather them? I am already in the industry since 2013. I saw the first crash from 1,200 to 200. The problem is when you don't own enough Bitcoins, that scares you, because everybody has a calculation. How much money do I need to survive this next year or the next 2 years? So if your stash of Bitcoins is high enough that even when we have the crashes, you still have 50K for a year to live, you don't care because you believe in the bull cycle and going up again. So that's how you weather up into this. But it's not easy. It's an emotional roller coaster ride. But it's less boring than fiat. Yeah.
It does get easier though, doesn't it? This emotional roller coaster. Okay, next question. Come on, let's go. Hands up. Two in the front here.
How do you guys see the war between CBDCs and decentralization panning out? Because this war is coming for sure.
Who here wants money that's controlled by a bank or some other person? Who here wants money where you control it? That's your answer. You know.
Hang on. Who wants control of money that we control? I want to see everyone's hand here. Otherwise, what are you doing here?
So, I mean, who would hold their money in this thing? They'll try and make it so that you must or whatever. But again, this is why what we're talking about today matters. If I pay for my hotel to some guy directly, and I pay for the food here with direct, there's nothing they can do to stop that, guys. There is nothing they can do to stop that. And if we all agree, it's painful, it's inconvenient, but if you make an effort to accept Bitcoin and to pay with Bitcoin, that is how we take the power away from these people and we stop that ever happening, right? So they will try, but the real question is what are all of you and us going to do about it? And that's the way it will play out.
And that changed my thinking. That got me really thinking, am I contributing or is it just an asset I'm accumulating? And it's a really big question. Like, try and everywhere I do go now, my first question when I'm buying something is, do you take Bitcoin? Or at least crypto? Yeah. And if they don't, my next question is, like Didi said, that's where I got it from. You got me to do it. You're like, I went to a hotel, they didn't take crypto. So I was like, do you want to? And most of the time they go, yeah, cool, I'll help you do it and I'll pay you in crypto. And you would be so surprised. And that's tiny little things you can do. Next question, or did you have a comment?
I think it will take too long. So
All right.
for me, CBD, I think the central banks are trying to fight us, like the governments and the banks have trying to fight illegal cash that was hidden in your drawer. They never solved that. They could never attack that. You could not knock on your door and check everybody's house. Do you have some money that we need to tax? They can never do that in Bitcoin because it was always almost impossible on normal money. So just imagine now, digital money. How will they check this? This is a revolution. We are fucking up the monetary system, and we need to be very fast. We need to be very fast. And I want to try one thing because he's going to stop me. Because I was in Tulum, I'm going to stand. We were in Tulum this morning, and I just to get the feeling because I'm hearing the word bang too much. On 3, I would love the whole community to just shout, "We love Bitcoin." On 3, just try it. It gives you a really good shock. Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Boom! I couldn't hear you. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Yes, and fuck Janet Yellen and fuck the central bank and all the other government. Sorry. Oh shit, my daughter is here.
That was worth the extra 1 minute. Okay, this lady's been waiting 90 minutes to ask a question. Go for it.
So is this okay?
Yep.
So since this is about living off Bitcoin and crypto, how do we do it? How do we milk the money out of the business account? What's the critical path to do that? Because on NACHO and whatnot, you have to open a business account. How do you take that? Assuming that we are receiving in crypto. What's the critical
So your
path
question
to do
is,
that?
I got a shitload of money in my business.
That I want to take out.
How do I get it out? Yeah? Let's not beat around the bush.
And I don't want to pay taxes.
I can answer that one as seeing as I am solving that particular issue myself. Hypothetically speaking, you might be able to start a business and invoice someone for a technological project which was paid in dollars. And funnily enough, that technological project might not even exist, and it may simply be a way where Bitcoin is transferred to someone and dollars are sent to someone and Bitcoin is sent returned to somewhere else. But if all the paperwork existed and the business structure was such to achieve the tax issues that you were talking about, hypothetically speaking, that might solve your problem.
That's a really good to hypothetically discuss these things. We'll leave maybe some more of those questions for a couple of weeks' time because they're very in-depth and complex. But thank you very much for hypothetically theorizing some situation with us. Next question, Nash. Nash, yeah?
Yeah.
Nash.
Hello. Thank you for the presentation. Let's talk about putting Bitcoin to good use. How do we earn money with Bitcoin? So one way I know and I'm doing is to wrap it so it exists on Ethereum network and becomes part of the DeFi playground. And then you can do so many things. But I'm interested to hear your opinion. Is it smart? What are the other ways? And what do you guys do?
You want to know about yield farming, wrap BTC? Is that what you're asking?
How could you get some money from Bitcoin? Something like you think about getting dividends from a stock? Could Bitcoin?
He wants to know. I've got Bitcoin. How do I make more money from just owning Bitcoin?
Just from owning Bitcoin, is that something you guys recommend?
Because we had a question over here as well, which is about staking as well.
So you can just stake the wrap BTC for yield on any one of these decentralized platforms. They all have their own variable rates, But for wrap Bitcoin, you're not going to get a large percentage of money. You're probably going to get 3 to 4% API. So if you want a larger yield, then you're gonna have to go for a smaller cap coin that's wrapped, like maybe like a Uniswap or a Chainlink, or even smaller like an Illuvium, which you can get 400% APY and live off just the APY, because that is the thing right now. People are living off yield farming APYs.
Okay, let's leave it there. Didi, you got a comment on that? Anyone else? Mike's.
And
Javier, no mic, no talk.
Just no. It's a very good question because I have 3 daughters, and the one thing that I'm teaching them is not listen to schools. They are not going to school because I'm preparing them for the future, not for the past. Okay. Yeah, fuck schools as well. Shit, man, I say fuck too much when my kids are here, but fuck it. The thing that you need to do is educate your kids and how to manage capital. You don't need to do physical labor anymore to earn money. You let your money work for you. So you use bots that give you 10% a month instead of the minus 5% negative 0.5% negative interest on banks, or you do the staking, or you use Axie Infinity that gives you 120% yields a year, KYC free, non-KYC. So there's a lot of solutions that you can use now. So in short, if you have an overvalue in your house or a second or third car or whatever things that you really don't need, sell it, go all into Bitcoin now, and start to stack sets, because your inflation is killing you while Bitcoin is saving you. And when you let the capital work for you, you will not lose that overvalue, because when the housing market is going to crash next year, you won't have that 200K available. You're stuck, not by a physical lockdown by the government, but by a financial lockdown in your house. So now take that. That's not financial advice, is it? No.
We've already said that. It's okay.
Just take the money that you can take now.
Hypothetically,
we all know there is a crisis coming. We all know there is an economical crash coming. Take your money, stable it. I'm done.
Sell your chairs so you can buy more Bitcoin. That's the answer.
So the answer is buy more Bitcoin.
Think about that. Sell your chairs. Do you need your chairs?
Thank you very much.
You can eat standing. Sell your chairs to buy more Bitcoin.
And I want to say, so he said the word stacking sats everywhere. So remember, sats is a breakdown from Bitcoins. And instead of stacking silver and collecting silver or silver coins, you're stacking Satoshis. Just basically means accumulating just little bit by little bit by little bit. What was it? Most people overestimate what they can achieve in a day and underestimate what they can achieve in a lifetime. So it's like just go slow and steady with it, stack sats, and you'll be absolutely impressed at how much you're going to beat, well, smash inflation. We are wrapping it here. Before I fully wrap up, please can we give all of our panel a round of applause for everybody. In 3 minutes, there's going to be so much noise. So we got a lot to cut. No, sorry, sir. I can't. I've got 3 minutes, right? First of all, I want to start this off. We do these communities began because me and Chris just wanting to actually originally talk about tax. And Chris had the idea of wanting to like make it social so people could come. And we've been doing these since March. And they just was like 4 or 5 of us around the table to begin with. And they've just grown and grown because at the end of the day, when you have something that people want to talk about and you put the time and effort that we put into, people like things that they not like. And I'm just really curious, have you had a good time? Yeah? And so we do all this for free. We bought all this tech for ourselves to make sure we could do this. But we also want to make sure that as a community, like we're all incredibly privileged to be here. Like, I'm really curious, how many of you are actually Mexican born? That's my point exactly. So I want to give a round of applause to these guys because they are supporting and flying that flag for Mexico, because the rest of us fuckers are from the rest of the world and we live here. And so what we're doing is we're making sure that we're doing something. And this is a really big glass jar. Now it says tips. All of this money goes towards a local charity here that helps disabled people have an education and have a form of living because they're ostracized to a point. So everything we collect here, we give towards them, and everything that goes in this tip jar, I double to give to them each week. So last time we were here, we raised 2,000 pesos. So me and Chris doubled that, and we put 4,000 in total that we gave them from last time we did this session. And there's 150 of us in here. So I want to see this full with your love and with your hearts. Orid's going to pass it around. It's your token of appreciation. We want to continue to do them for free, but we do want to give back. So that's the first announcement. The second announcement is if you had fun, we will be here in 2 weeks' time. Bobby, would you just stand up and wave at least? This is Bobby. Everyone say hi, Bobby. Bobby is our resident nomad digital tax advisor guru dude. He's unbelievable. And he's coming to speak to us specifically about taxes. Now, we have a gap between this week and last week. 2 seconds, guys, your attention, and then we will be done. 2 seconds, guys. So we at these events, we have one conversation. How many? One Next week, we have many because it's a social. There's no microphones, but you're all welcome to come here and just be. You'll be surprised how many connections you meet, how many people you meet. It lowers the boundaries. We get more social. And then when we have these events, you feel like you're coming home to a family. So you're welcome to come here every single week, but we usually alternate between a social, which is next week, and then an event, which we have today. So next week's a social, and then we have 2 weeks' time. Yeah, then it's tax, and then we'll work out the Christmas agenda. So that's the last thing for here. This is Vadim. Hi, Vadim. Vadim has an announcement as well. He's been helping out with us for a couple of weeks.
So we go to the gym to train our bodies, right? But where we train our financial skills. And there is a way. Robert Kiyosaki created the great board game which calls Cash Flow. This game changed my life, and thanks to where I am, right? Thanks to this game, that's where I am right now, as an investor, businessman, entrepreneur. I train cash flow. I've been doing this for 3 last years. I will do the first cash flow next week on the social. We will start with first 6 people that want to train their skills, follow the dream, and the most important, train their mindset, because all this starts from the here, and then the money comes, right? So the next social, we will do first table of the cash flow, first 6 people. Just come to me. I will note you. It's a free donation, and you will need to have 2 or 3 hours next Wednesday. Okay.
Everyone give Vadim a round of applause. Thank you for doing that, bro. I've seen many people change their lives by just understanding about how money changes things and understanding money in total. And that's what that is about. We have another announcement. We're being gifted by the gods, by the way. That should be screaming. Who has an announcement?
You and me.
You don't even know you have an announcement.
You want to do it? I do it. I'm a roofer. So next week, we are opening the rooftop. Everybody's invited. 50% paying in lightning payments to SATs. What can I say? It's a new technology so everybody can start adopting, and there's also be education in the place. So you are very welcome.
So this is a place, the rooftop, that you can go anytime, because we have this social every week here, but this is a place you can go anytime. It's as central as you could be at the gallery. And of course, it's going to accept lightning payments and Bitcoin theme. You can come and co-work as well. There's plenty of space in the sunshine, enjoy the pool. So it's a very cool spot.
I just want to.
People want to know where it is. And also
the gallery. And I'll put information in the group, but it's going to be
everything that was being shared tonight is all in the crypto Telegram group. Who's not in the crypto Del Carmen Telegram group? Okay, find someone next to you and say, "Are you in it?" And they'll just share you the link.
And you just need to go to cryptodelcarmen.com.
That's a
all
much
the links
easier
are there.
solution.
Yeah.
Go to cryptodelcarmen.com. Didi?
I'm just blessed away by your announcement. I'm very happy. I have a Bitcoin heart. The first $500 in Satoshis is on me. So everybody that comes gets to drink for free for the first $500.
Awesome. So everything that's been shared is on the Crypto Del Carmen group. Oh, shoot. All of our hashtags and @ symbols, and it's always at Crypto Del Carmen. So we really kindly ask, because we don't have a photographer, by the way, if anybody wishes to photography at our events, please do let us know. But otherwise, if you've taken photos and videos, we'd love you to post them, because we never really get any. So that's at Crypto Del Carmen for everything. Have we done with the announcements? Or you can post them in the Telegram group if you're in the Telegram group.
Exactly.
Everything will be Telegram.
And I'll kindly say this. We do all this for free. We give our time, and what we do get, we give away. So I just kindly ask, don't try to profit off of our efforts. Like I say that kindly, but it does happen.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, this was, last thing, who's never been here before? Raise your hand. This place is called Zitla Siba. If everybody could please turn to the back of the room, because these guys work their asses off to squeeze between you and serve you beer and food all day. They have been part of the community for years, and when our last event got closed, they just said, "Hey, we got this little space, you can use it." And we turned up and we were like, "Ooh, It's nice. It's not as good when it rains, but today, we're blessed today. Doesn't that look beautiful? So we come here every single week, and they're really, really helpful. They did tell us a notice last week when we have the socials, when there's no microphone. This is. I'm about to say, "Don't smoke weed." it's not the best song for that. I know you all like to enjoy yourselves, but there was a little bit too much ganja enjoyment at the last social. So if you could just respect the fact that this is a business and it's an open space business, and please do come past. If you can just keep your ganja smoking to other establishments bar here, that would be very, very good. Thank you, sir. Okay, with that, thank you to Zitla Sieber. Thank you to yourselves. Thank you to Chris, who always helps out, to Vadim, to Sawai, to Audit, and to our panelists. This was a Crypto Del Carmen Dinner 27. Have a good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm like the DeFi guy. He's like the Bitcoin guy. I'm the DeFi I was like,